Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. We had a gorgeous run, 2 weeks of glorious weather, and now it is back to good old rainy Blighty. The dogs were enjoying it, they were loving the extra sunshine, and now everybody is back to wearing their jumpers. Now, aside from the weather turning a little bit gloomy, we've had lots of news coming out, and Harry and Meghan have unfortunately been dominating the headlines, but it is mostly in ridicule. And this video, well, needless to say, I think that rather than people talking about the king taking away their titles, he might want to think about getting a restraining order instead. Maybe not the king, but definitely Catherine and William. Meghan and Harry are definitely both trying to poke the bear. But before we get on to them, let's talk about something lovely, and we have a new video released by the Princess of Wales, who has been spending time with a group of scouts from Cumbria, Stratford and Greater Manchester in the Lake District with Chief Scout Dwayne Fields.
I find it a very spiritual and very intense emotional reconnection, I suppose, these environments. Not everyone has that same relationship perhaps with nature, but it is so therefore meaningful for me as a place to balance and find a sort of sense of peace and reconnection in what is otherwise a very busy world. What's so fantastic about the Scouts is that the same foundations that have always been there, and still, you know, despite how different the modern day world is now, actually it still resonates with so many young people, and it's making such a massive difference to them.
The Princess of Wales is not only the patron, but she is also the joint president of the Scouts alongside the Duke of Kent, and has spent many a time volunteering with them, dating right back to when she used to live in Anglesey with Prince William in their early days of marriage, and having been a Girl Scout herself as a child. Embracing nature is at the core values of the Scouts, and Catherine is a huge advocate for the importance of spending time in the great outdoors, and she has praised it in boosting her morale as well as her recovery over the last 18 months with her diagnosis of cancer. Scouts is a brilliant club for all young people, teaching them important life skills, encouraging outdoor activities, becoming an active member of the community by learning to help others. And of course, it means that they can make friends with lots of other like-minded young people that love being outside. Now, moving away from our much beloved Princess of Wales, we need to talk about the bunny boiler of Montecito. I'm not gonna be ignored, Dan. This is the vibes that she is now giving me with her constant need for attention. Meghan has been everywhere, and it's been non-stop since January, since she decided to start back on social media. It's almost daily. And as you guys have probably started to notice, I am not posting everything that she does. I can't even bring myself to listen to her podcast. I am going to do it because episode 2 has been released, but I'm tired of her. I find her predictable. I find her completely boring. I find her to be a grandiose narcissist. There will be books written about Meghan Markle for years to come, and not in the most flattering of lights. But the big thing is that I can see that Meghan is doing is she is definitely trying to push buttons at the moment. Whether it be the royal family or just the supporters, Meghan certainly knows how to trigger people, and it's all for attention. But before we get on to talking about Meghan's bunny boiler antics, let's talk about something that she's done, and it involves Harry going to Ukraine last week. She has done something which just shows her narcissism is completely out of control. And she's made a sweet gesture, albeit a slightly misinformed gesture, but she's managed to make it all about herself, which has naturally drawn negative criticism from royal watchers, royal reporters, and it's exactly what she wanted. So what did Meghan do now? Well, she's posted a letter of thanks, or rather a message of thanks to Prince Harry to her own Instagram account, and she cut it to make it look as though she was the one that was actually being thanked by First Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine after she was photographed giving Harry a present of Easter bread during his much publicised visit the other day. Now, the reason why some people got so upset was because she had referred to Harry as Your Royal Highness. The Queen allowed them to keep their HRH status without formally stripping them of it. Again, she didn't know at the time that Harry and Meghan were going to wage war against the royal family. She didn't know that they were going to do Netflix. She didn't know that they were going to do Oprah straight after the Sandringham Summit agreement had ended after a year's grace. I think if the Queen really knew deep down or had an inkling that they were going to turn out as vicious, nasty and vindictive as they did, she would have stripped everything off of them. Which, in all honesty, is something that I think the King seriously needs to get a bit more of a backbone with. I do understand with his cancer he doesn't want to deal with it, but I think that there is definitely trouble brewing. So with the message being written to Your Royal Highness and Meghan posting it to her Instagram, the thank you message was rather ambiguous as to whom she was referring to. It could have been either one of them. She knows that that letter was meant for Harry. She could have put a tribute on it going, oh, it's so lovely that this message was for my husband, but she did not. As the message goes on, it says, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for everything that your family is doing for Ukraine and for helping us draw the world's attention to humanitarian demining in Ukraine. Now think about it, Harry and Meghan helping Ukraine. What, Meghan painting a picture of an upside down flag? What exactly have they been doing? But when you think about your family as in the royal family, well, there's plenty of examples of why I think she was actually referring to the real royals. The fact that the UK are helping to train Ukrainian soldiers in Wiltshire, which the King paid a visit to, or the donations from the Prince and Princess of Wales to go towards the disaster emergency. Prince William recently joining soldiers on the Ukrainian border to draw attention to the countries like Estonia helping them, not just with the military, but also taking in many displaced Ukrainian children. The Duchess of Edinburgh, who was the first working royal to visit Ukraine last year since the start of the war on behalf of the Foreign Office to demonstrate solidarity with the women and children impacted by the war. Harry and Meghan have used Archewell in the way that they do. They make small donations to organisations that are already established and on the ground. Take World Kitchen, for example, and then they take full credit for it. So whilst they have used donations to go towards some organisations in Ukraine, I wouldn't say that they have done a lot. Obviously Harry's visit very recently, but that's all to do with the Invictus. So yes, as for thanking Harry's family, I believe that she meant the actual royal family, even more so because she tagged the royal family's Twitter accounts in her post. Now, of course, Ukraine has had other things on their mind for the last couple of years, and perhaps they weren't aware of all of the drama with Oprah, with Netflix. As I said, it's not exactly possibly high on their priorities of a family war that is going on in another country, which, despite it being obviously well publicised, if you don't care about the royal family, you don't care about people airing their dirty laundry. And that's exactly what Harry and Meghan have done. Now, personally, I do not believe that they are even talking to the royal family, or rather, the royal family are choosing not to talk to them. In the latest People magazine exclusive, where sources close to Harry tell the publication that the King has made himself unavailable on the last 3 visits that Harry made to the UK, that his calls and letters go unanswered, and how he's being completely kept in the dark over his father's cancer prognosis. The fact that he is continuously running to the media to brief the public again shows that they cannot trust him. Like the last time he did come over and see his father, he was talking on an interview the next day and it was advertised as an update on the King's health. It shows that they cannot trust him. Like his increased security risk, this is all on Harry. This is all his own doing. You don't invite a fox into your chicken coop when he's still picking the bones out of his teeth from the last time you let him in. But the big problem is, because Harry and Meghan are still on the royal family website, it allows Harry and Meghan to push this narrative that they are still somehow involved with the crown, representing the King on one level or another. Let's not forget the disaster mini royal tours that these two have done, pretending that they are royals. Do you remember last year when Harry told the First Nations chief that he will be the one to continue conversations to do with reconciliations between the Indigenous and non-Indigenous people of Canada? I mean, Harry, please, he hasn't got the education to do something like that, but this is something that the king would have been involved in. Charles should have slapped his son down then, but again, everything just seems to be completely ignored. This is why Harry and Meghan are doing more and more things like petulant children. Harry and Meghan are without a doubt trying to provoke a reaction. Meghan editing that message to make it look like that she was being called Your Royal Highness was 100% deliberate. It got her into the headlines and it got her being talked about by the royal watchers. Meghan knows exactly what she's doing. Take her recent upload to her Instagram account, right? This is on her Shop My Link, where she is using her full royal title, completely in breach of the Sandringham Summit, to flog clothes where she gets commission for them. Well, she's done an Easter edit and it features lots of rabbits, which I would say is definitely fitting at this point because she's turned into a bit of a royal bunny boiler. I think she should perhaps add a silver saucepan, or perhaps La Crusade can do one that she can flog as well. Meghan is without a doubt definitely trying to piss off Prince William and Catherine. The reason I say this is not because of the Peter Rabbit merch, the Easter eggs or bunny slippers, but because of these three items. The little blue petite plume pyjamas. They're cute, right? Adorable. She's got them in pink and she's got them in blue. These are the exact same set that Prince George was wearing when he met Barack Obama. I absolutely kid you not, the company even posted about it at the time. Then the dress. You know exactly where I'm going with this and I don't even need to say it out loud. This is Trotter's Dresses, a London-based company that the Princess of Wales has loved, and Princess Charlotte has worn loads of their clothes ever since she was little and even now that she's older. Then you have the third dress. Again, another brand which is loved by the Princess of Wales, worn by Princess Charlotte as well. Of course she's done this on purpose. She is merching royal children. The big problem is it's Catherine and William's children. It's pretty twisted even by her standards. She is obsessed with that family, the same as her husband is, just for very different reasons. Even in her show with Love Meghan, the episode with Mindy, you know, the famous episode where she's like, Mindy, I'm Sussex now, which she's apparently backtracked on. She's tried to say that that didn't happen, but I'll talk about that in another video. But Mindy was asking about Meghan's look, and Meghan's like, oh, these old things, I wear high to low. Well, I've seen those headlines over the years to do with the Princess of Wales, who does wear high-end fashion with high street labels, and one of her favourite labels is Zara. So of course where Meghan was talking about, oh, I've got this, and Zara the trousers, because Meghan's really relatable these days. And I just thought to myself, she's looking up headlines to do with the Princess of Wales and finding a way to incorporate it into Netflix, into her social media posts, and it's creepy behaviour. Now some will say, come on Taz, you're reaching here, it's a bit of a coincidence. Lots of people love Zara. Yes, lots of people do love Zara, but Meghan had a sayonara Zara party when she got her part on Suits because she deemed it too low end for her and basically gave all of her non-designer clothes away to her friends. Now we're expected to believe that Meghan likes wearing Zara. This is a woman that turns up to a film premiere where people are in jeans and trainers wearing a, what was it, a £5,000 Carolina Herrera dress. Meghan is becoming more unhinged by the day, as is her husband. We have started getting stories coming out after Harry's trip to London to do with his security. He's throwing a bit of a wobbler because it looks like he's not going to get what he wants. So there is now being a story floated that he is going to do Spare 2.0, which he had threatened that he was going to do that anyway, but at the time said, no, I'm going to spare my family, even though I have more than enough. Well, what they're saying is after his recent appearance in court, where he told the media afterwards that his worst fears have been confirmed and he's seen secret evidence that would shock us all, a Buckingham Palace insider said it's a veiled threat that he will tell all if he doesn't get what he wants. The thing is, Harry does believe that his father can change this decision for him. So I do believe that he is definitely threatening them. And I say, let him do it, rip the band-aid off, take the titles, just let the fallout happen all at once. Let Harry write another book. He's still getting grief from the stuff that he revealed in the last book. 1, people called out his lies. 2, he threw people under a bus, which lost him even more friends, which, you know, I can't imagine he's got many left. He's got all of the problems due to his bragging about taking drugs, and then of course he increased his own security threat, didn't he, by bragging about what he got up to, or rather the number of lives that he took whilst in Afghanistan. He and Meghan are complete fantasists, and anybody with a brain cell can see these two lie all of the time. Very few people will believe a word that comes out of their mouths. They both come across as the cheese, as I said, is sliding off the cracker. They have now become real-life versions of their caricatures in South Park. Although I would definitely say, do you remember Meghan's ID card of all of the things that she's really good at? I would say that they could add another string to her bow. So guys, that's it for me on this video. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think that Meghan is trying to push Prince William's buttons? Do you think that Harry and Meghan are trying to deliberately get their dukedom stripped so they can then have a victim narrative? Love to hear your thoughts. I will speak to you in the comments. See you soon. Bye.